maybe I should just sit down and shut up and quit while I'm ahead. Scott, that was a rousing speech, and as Scott said, no coordination between us. I didn't suggest his remarks. He speaks for himself. I think most of you know that the judge in my case has issued a gag order, and while I can speak on many topics, including politics, I cannot speak about the specifics of my case, and I won't do so tonight, nor will I do so prior to my trial. As the judge said in our very initial hearing, the right time for that talk is in court, and believe me, when that day comes, I will have plenty to say. In the interim, I want to say a couple things. First of all, I want to thank my friend Bill Lewis. Now, Bill and I have not always been on the same side, but we're on the same side today. And I can tell you, if you want a guy on your side who's a scrapper, who you can count on, who has your back, there's no better man than Bill Lewis. Yeah. Chairman Frank for having us today. This is a return engagement for me. I've worked this room before, and I'm delighted to see so many new people. I'm going to talk about a broad cross-section of American politics tonight, and then we'll talk about the impact of this case on me and my family, and give you some idea of what we are facing and how this will unfold. I should tell you at the top that recently my attorneys received a letter from Chairman Jerry Nadler of the House Judiciary Committee demanding that I hand over documents and testify before his committee, and my lawyers have informed him that I will exercise my Fifth Amendment rights. I will be turning over no documents. Just seems to me that this is a fishing expedition to dig into the president's personal finances, including his finances prior to his getting into politics and saving this country from the calamity it was headed towards. So I will not be cooperating in that inquiry. I agree with the president when he says the Democrats will never be satisfied, and they won't. We see CNN. I think these people live in a parallel universe. They live in a different place than we do. Their coverage seems to me to have no basis in reality. Yet the 2020 contest is looming. And I think the president's in very strong position for re-election. The single most important reason is the phenomenal economic recovery that Barack Obama himself said was literally, technically, structurally impossible. 4.5 million new jobs, 650,000 manufacturing jobs, wage growth at the fastest pace in American history, the lowest unemployment since 1969, the lowest unemployment among African Americans and Hispanic Americans since those statistics began being kept. Billions of dollars coming back in the country because of the president's program for tax inversion, to invest here, to expand here, to create jobs and hire here. It is nothing short of a modern economic miracle, and we've seen nothing like it since the days of my favorite president, Ronald W. Reagan. Now look at the Democratic field, which I don't think is yet complete, I must tell you. I still think that there are candidates to be added to this field. Now, Joe Biden leads the field with somewhere around 30% of the vote. It's up a little bit right now because he's in the echo chamber of his announcement, so that pops your numbers up temporarily. Contrast that with, say, Richard Nixon after 8 years as vice president, or George H.W. Bush after 8 years as vice president, or even Walter Mondale after 4 years as vice president. Someone who served as a sitting vice president should be in a commanding position with more than 50% of the vote. These poll numbers that show Joe Biden out front are a sign not of strength, but of weakness. And close on his tail, of course, is crazy Bernie Sanders. I would not underestimate Sanders' prospects for the nomination. I revised my opinion on this. I thought, in all honesty, that he was such a strong contender 4 years ago, 3 years ago, simply because he wasn't Hillary Clinton. And that many Democrats thought the Clintons had worn out their welcome, as they had. They were looking for another candidate, and he was running. But it is very clear that the socialist wing of the Democratic Party is in the ascendancy. And the Marxism that he is selling has a fervent market right now in the Democratic Party. Something for nothing. We're going to give you everything, but you're not going to pay for it. Well, somebody is going to pay for it. We know that. He also has the advantage of having run before. Having worked for Ronald Reagan in 1980, after he ran in 1976, I can tell you that that's an enormous advantage. First of all, you have a structural organization in all 50 states. Secondarily, you have a proven list of donors who will give again and again and again. Thirdly, you have, having scored so well before he sold out to Hillary Clinton, and I think sacrificed his standing as an outsider and as a reformer, you have the stature level of having been a candidate before. I do not underestimate Senator Sanders. Now, I think it's interesting that in his last campaign for president, he and his wife formed a media placement company, and they took the commission for all of the electronic media placed by the Sanders campaign, which, by the way, is perfectly legal. However, I think it's entrepreneurial capitalism, not socialism, which is why Senator Sanders is worth millions of dollars today, why he has 3 homes, and why he's driving a top-of-the-line Mercedes. Maybe he's converting to capitalism. Now you look at the rest of this field. Senator Cory Booker. Now, when he was the mayor of Newark, Cory Booker voted on the city water authority, called Watershed, to pay $600,000 to Cory Booker's law firm. This is money that he very quickly pocketed. Then, when confronted, he said, well, he didn't vote for it, but the minutes of the meeting of the authority show that he was present and he voted yes. Then he said, well, it had no relationship to the city water authority, it was deferred compensation. No, wait a minute. It was a partner buyout. No, it was legal work that I was doing for a different client. The short end of this is very clear. If Cory Booker were a Hispanic Republican, he'd be in prison right now. Then you have Kamala Harris. You're familiar with the Kamala Harris action doll? Bed not included. Now, Kamala Harris, in my opinion, shares a great drawback with Joe Biden. Joe Biden authored most of the legislation that turbocharged the ineffective war on drugs. The war on drugs has been an ignominious, extraordinarily expensive failure. Incarcerating young black men for the first time nonviolent crime of possession of small amounts of drugs has destroyed lives, has destroyed families, has rehabilitated no one, and has cost American taxpayers literally millions of dollars. No one has put more young, poor people and African Americans and Hispanics in prison than Joe Biden, who is chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, is the author of most of that legislation, including the 1994 crime bill championed by Bill and Hillary Clinton. And no candidate running other than Joe Biden has locked up as many poor black people for drug offenses than Attorney General Kamala Harris. They are both cold drug warriors. And to me, that would be problematic within the base of the Democratic Party, and I think problematic with all Americans. Who is it who reformed our criminal justice system so no longer does a poor person who got caught with rock cocaine face harsher mandatory penalties than a rich white lawyer who gets caught with powdered cocaine. Who changed that? Who fixed the system? Who made it more equitable? Who made it possible for people to have a second chance? President Donald J. Trump. Now, I think one of the greatest obstacles to the president's re-election is overconfidence. It's true we have a boom economy, but I see two major impediments, two storm clouds on the horizon, and they're both important. The first one is the wholesale, relentless, and systematic censorship on the internet of conservatives and Republicans and Trump supporters and libertarians and non-liberals. I was in the room during the House Judiciary Committee hearings when Congressman Chairman Jerry Nadler said that the censorship of conservatives by Google is a right-wing conspiracy theory. No, Congressman, it isn't. We've seen the internal memos that have leaked from Google. We've seen the internal videos that have leaked from Google. We have seen the actions of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and others colluding, if you will, together to block those like Laura Loomer, my friend who has valiantly fought against internet censorship. This is a slippery slope, but let me explain why it's important. 2016 was the year in which the mainstream media, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, to some degree Fox, and of course the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, lost their stranglehold, their monopoly on the political narrative in this country. The rise of a vibrant, robust, alternative media based in the internet gave Donald Trump a forum to punch back. So they couldn't do to him what they did to Barry Goldwater in the days when we had a monolithic, left-leaning establishment, corporate-owned media. Now, realizing that the legalization and the development of the internet has been an enormous mistake, the tech left seeks to put the toothpaste back in the tube. We have seen literally millions of Republicans and conservatives deplatformed on Facebook, deplatformed on Twitter, deplatformed by Google, deplatformed on YouTube. This is an enormous danger to the president's re-election. What can be done about it? Well, I was a pioneer in this area because I was banned for life on Twitter almost 19 months ago. Why? Well, I don't really know why, because they never told me why, other than that I violated their community standards, which are somewhat vague. In truth, I hurt Jake Tapper's feelings. Because of that, I was banned for life. I had 400 or 550,000 followers on Twitter at the time that I was deplatformed. And I said at the time that I would sue. And if I wasn't busy right now with certain other legal matters, I would be probably engaged in a lawsuit today.